Hello and welcome to the Highlanders versus Lions preview, brought to you by DrivingMaul. I'm the guy behind DrivingMaul. I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm always up for a good rugby chat, so if you're watching live or recorded, then please do feel free to put comments below your thoughts on what I'm saying and other stuff as well, either on Twitter or on YouTube. You can find me in both places. So, both the Highlanders and the Lions announced their squads for today. Let's kick off with the Lions. Now, obviously, they had that win over the Crusaders last night, and it's like, wow, okay, we've just done a review of that game, and we're straight into the next one. Go, 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 go. Yes, it really is it is that quick a turnaround, and hence why I'm surprised by at least one of the selections that has been made. So we've got Marler, Best and Sinclair starting off. Now, one of the things we said prior to the weekend was that we thought that the Saturday team was starting to resemble more of a test side, and that we might be seeing this as more of the midweek team now, rather than players having really an opportunity to make that test side. So these players, one of the players at the weekend has to go really badly, or one of these guys has to do really well to start changing that shift. That's not to say it's entirely set in stone, and also with 41 players, not every player gets to play each week, which just sounds, or each 7 days, which again just sounds crazy. But that's how it is. So, or at least not start every week. So anyway, so Marler, Best and Sinclair, which suggests that these guys are the guys that aren't going to be making the tests, and definitely won't be starting against the New Zealand Maori at the weekend. In the locks we have Courtney Laws and Ian Henderson. And again, that smacks of being the two guys who are not going to make the test side. Even though Courtney Laws could be pushing Alwyn Jones, but Alwyn Jones had a good game last night. In the back row we have Haskell, Stander and Warburton. Now Sam Warburton's coming back from injury, and obviously could push his way back into the test side as captain of the squad. CJ Stander, I think a lot of us actually saw him as being potentially the first choice 6 going into the test, but it looks like he's only being considered as an 8. Which is a question mark as to Haskell's replacement of Billy Vunipola. Should it, not that I'm not saying Haskell doesn't deserve it, but he's not an 8. He's not a like-for-like replacement. So should we have seen more of an 8 replacement for Vunipola, giving CJ Stander the opportunity to challenge for that test spot? Or maybe this is about getting game time in his legs for a bench position, like he was on Friday. I was expecting to see Moriarty playing at 8, to be honest, but he doesn't get a run out at all. Then Webb gets a run out at 9. He didn't get to play at the weekend. He just spent the whole night on the bench, so that's understandable. Getting him game time, I fully expect him to be the bench at number 9. And then, for me, the big controversy of this selection, Dan Biggar at number 10. He went off and failed a HIA last Wednesday. He's going to be playing next Tuesday. It's a 6-day turnaround. That's just not the kind of level of what we're expecting when we're talking about player welfare and being concerned around concussion. It gives totally the wrong message for everybody. Even if he has been passing his return to play protocols, being able to play 6 days later, personally, I think is far too soon. I really don't think he should be allowed to play in this game. I think it's disgraceful. There you go. So Dan Biggar will start at 10, assuming he does pass the rest of his return to play protocols. Then we have Henshaw and Jamie Joseph in at the centres, which looks like Teo is going to be the man at number 12. Quite who's going to sit outside him is still open to debate, and we'll see what happens there. For Henshaw, he really has to have a big game now. He's had a couple of not so great games, and this is the one where he really has to show that he's back, he has some form. And Jamie Joseph, what he has to show is he can run the inside line off Henshaw's shoulder and not just the outside lines, because that's the way that Teo plays, and something that Davis was doing very well before he went off with a head injury at the weekend. Back 3, we have Seymour out on the left, Jack Nowell on the right, and Jared Payne at fullback. Now Hoggs, again HIA, could open the fullback spot up, and so if Jared Payne puts in a great game here, then he could do it. But I think Halfpenny would be the obvious. Halfpenny or Watson are first in line there for that role. Seymour had a quiet game in the opening game, and really was a victim of part of the team performance, and it being a winger, he can be that time, and so he needs a big game to remind people what he can do, because he is a wonderful player. Jack Nowell obviously had a bit of a problem against the Blues defensively, but I personally think it was more system issues rather than him personally. He was getting left out to hang out to dry against a couple of players. But with the right wing facing up against Julian Surveyor, it is quite clear that he's probably lost his chance in that Blues game when he didn't manage to get Rico under control. But had a chance here to try and rectify that when he comes up against Nadolo will play actually on the right, so no, he isn't up against him. On the bench, Ken Owens, McGrath, and Cole are the front row replacements, same as last weekend, and I think probably we'll see that going forwards. Alwyn Jones and Tipuric come in for the lock and the back row options. Tipuric's probably been out a bit low on game time, and he'll be itching to get onto the pitch. Greg Laidlaw is the 9 with Owen Farrell replacements, and Elliot Daly is the other back replacement as well. Another player who needs a good game to remind people how wonderful a player he is. So all these guys are international players, so even though I'm saying that they're not kind of likely Lions test starters, they're all quality players. They'll be looking at their combinations right, and they'll be looking at backing up that performance against the Crusaders. It's not a weak side by any stretch of the imagination. And I expect them to play very similarly, obviously, to the way they were playing on Saturday night. So I expect Bigger to be trying that loop move around Henshaw, which is a Sexton tactic that we saw Farrell running quite a bit early on, and maybe Payne or someone else stepping in as a second playmaker as well, which we saw once Sexton and Farrell were there. And see if he can show he can swap in when Bigger is caught out of position, either because he's tackled or whatever. And apart from that, I think we'll probably see a fairly narrow game plan again, to suck in players, to create space, and then to go wide is my expectation. Now, against the Highlanders are a very different beast to the Crusaders. The Crusaders, and going into that game, we all heard the All Blacks front five in the pack, and how it was going to be and they're much more a pack-led team. The Highlanders are very much more a backs-led team and a broken play-led team. And that's normally run by Aaron Smith, who isn't playing in this game, and by Ben Smith, who also isn't playing in this game. Ben Smith, the captain, and Aaron Smith is quite often the heartbeat of the Highlander team. But still, I don't expect them to change their game styles because two players are missing. So I think we'll still see them putting a lot of kicks in, looking for a lot of broken play and a lot of counter-attacking style. In that front, in the front row, Leonard Brown, Coltman, Tokalahi, and any Hemempo, Evans, Hunt, Whitelock. That's Luke Whitelock, not one of the other ones. There's lots of other. His name that you'll probably recognise. All the rest, they're not sort of the All Black names we were getting in the Crusaders, but they'll still look to hold their own. But I can't see them dominating the Lions pack by any stretch of imagination. Hellington will have a big role to play. Then we have Sopwagga there, who will be looking, if Cruden is injured, like it looked like he was on Friday, will be on the bench for the All Blacks most likely. Walden, Fekitoa, who missed out on All Black selection, he'll have a very big point to make. I expect Jamie Joseph to get hit pretty hard by some crunching tackles and some crunching runs. On the wing, Lee is on the left wing. Is a quick guy and definitely can cause some damage. Naholo has been released from the All Blacks to play in this game and will be fighting to try and get a test shirt off. Probably Dag is who the most likely person he's challenging him for that role. And then Buckman or Barracuda at the back there, replacing Ben Smith. Quite often see him playing more of a centre role, but so it'll be interesting to see how he goes back there. But I'm sure he'll do fine. As I say, lots of high kicks, lots of contestable balls is what I expect. Lots of broken play, trying to avoid the set piece is what I expect we'll see from this side. And even though they are missing players, there is still quality to come off the bench. Marty Banks has had a great kicking record this year. Patrick Osborne is also another good winger as well. So they have got players on the bench to come off and cause an impact. Should be a cracker of a game. And whilst I'll be back with my weather watch tomorrow, they're playing indoors, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to say about the weather watch. But so this is the indoor stadium, not like the Millennium Stadium, which has a retractable roof. This one is constantly. This is a greenhouse stadium that doesn't have a sliding roof, so wind won't be an issue or any of that kind of stuff. Anyway, have a great day. Enjoy the game. Should be a cracker. Should be lots of running rugby. Don't expect this will definitely not be a slugfest. Touch wood. No, I've said it. But I think the Lions are going to have a bit too much quality for this game and win it by a score. The Highlanders tend to struggle a little bit when they're missing some of their All Blacks. And when Aaron Smith is probably the best scrum half in the world, Ben Smith is probably the best fullback in the world, any team would miss that kind of quality. And the only two that are missing are others as well. So, thank you for watching. As I say, I'm going for the Lions by 7. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. Link above on Twitter, down below on YouTube. Do share this with your friends and give it the old thumbs up. It's nice to get the word out there and reach other people. I don't have some big media organisation behind me. It's just me, myself and I running the show. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with my weather watch, plus another video which I haven't decided on yet. Perhaps looking at the future of the Lions and their viability. There's been lots of talk, particularly out of Ireland, around questioning the future of the Lions. I'll also be having a video chat with the Scottish Canon at 11 AM New Zealand time, live on YouTube, so look out for that as well, talking Lions and Highlanders.